The storm clouds over Outpost Helion 3 churned like a furious ocean in the sky when the alarms began screaming. Elizabeth, the base's chief xenobiologist and medic, rushed to the bay doors as flashing red lights painted the metallic walls. She heard the frantic shouting of a guard. "Contact incoming fast!" Massive life form, four-legged, closing in. Before the team could raise weapons, the doors slammed open under an enormous weight. A towering creature 2.5 meters at the shoulder leapt through in a blur of dark fur. Bioluminescent markings and desperate energy. An alien direwolf. One of the feared Lucerian hunters. Elizabeth froze, but the Wolf didn't attack. Instead, he gently lowered the limp body of a smaller, light-furred female onto the floor. His glowing blue eyes locked onto Elizabeth's, and he spoke haltingly in fractured galactic trade tongue. "Human. Help. Mate." "Dying." For a moment, no one breathed. Then Elizabeth stepped forward. "Move her to the medical bay, now." The Lucerian male, later identified as Karen, followed with a protective snarl rumbling under his breath. But he stayed close, watching Elizabeth's every movement. She quickly scanned the unconscious female, pulse fading, internal bleeding, toxin levels spiking, deep plasma burns that would have killed a human hours ago. "Evan!" she shouted. Evan, the young but brilliant engineer, sprinted in. He took in the scene and didn't hesitate. "What do you need?" "A power reroute to Biobe 3, maximum filtration." "And prep the nanite suspension full batch." Evan raised an eyebrow. "That stuff isn't fully tested on alien physiology." Elizabeth shot him a look that cracked like thunder. "She dies without it." Evan nodded once and ran. Karen growled softly, pacing around Elizabeth. His tail bristled with fear and fury. Lucerian hunters were legendary across the sector, unmatched trackers, unstoppable predators, terrifying warriors. But in that moment, Karen looked like nothing more than a mate terrified of losing his heart. Elizabeth placed a hand gently on the dying female's fur. "What happened to her?" she asked. Karen lowered his head. "Raiders. Off-world slavers. We fought. She killed many." "But toxin blades?" His voice shook. "I carried her across 3 mountains. Storm chased. Humans closest." "You did well bringing her here," Elizabeth said softly. He blinked, surprised by the praise. Humans rarely praised Lucerians. Humans rarely survived meeting Lucerians, but this human was different. The fight to save a life inside the medbay. Machines hummed with renewed power thanks to Evan's modifications. Sparks flew as he jury-rigged energy conduits. "Nanite suspension ready," he yelled. Elizabeth activated the med field around the injured Wolf. "Okay, let's make HFY history." She injected the glowing silver fluid into the female's bloodstream. Alarms immediately flared. "Her vitals are collapsing." Evan shouted. Elizabeth leaned over the console, rapid-fire tapping commands. "Nanites are confused by her tissue patterning. I need to manually calibrate them. Buy me time." Evan moved without thinking. He grabbed a capacitor cable and slammed it into the auxiliary port, forcing the biobed stabilizer field to full power. The lights flickered dangerously. "You'll blow the grid," Elizabeth warned. "Then work faster." Karen watched, body coiled like a spring, every breath agony. His claws sank into the metal floor, leaving deep dents. The nanites began synchronizing, adapting, rewriting themselves based on Elizabeth's commands. Blood flow stabilized. Organ decay reversed. The toxic compounds were being dismantled molecule by molecule. Elizabeth exhaled a shaky breath. Come on. Then the monitor beeped a single clear tone. "Recovery initiated." Evan sagged against the wall. "Holy hell. We did it?" Elizabeth nodded, exhausted but smiling. "Yeah, humanity did." Karen's ears shot up. "She lives?" Elizabeth stepped aside so he could see. "She's healing. She needs rest, but she's safe." The enormous alien dropped to his knees, head bowed. "Humans saved her. When all others turned us away, why?" Evan shrugged with a tired grin. "Because that's what we do." The incredible part, hours later, while the storm raged outside, Elizabeth monitored the patient as Evan repaired fried circuits around the room. Karen never moved far from his mate's side. When the female finally opened her eyes, Karen let out a cry that shook the room. Elizabeth smiled warmly. "Welcome back." The female blinked, confused. "Human? Helped?" Karen pressed his forehead to hers. "These humans saved you. They risked everything." The female's gaze softened. "Then humans are not prey? Not weak, not fodder? Humans are pack." Elizabeth exchanged a stunned glance with Evan. Lufarians didn't accept outsiders, ever. The female slowly rose, still weak, and looked at Elizabeth. "You gave life. Our old laws say life-giver becomes life-bonded friend." Elizabeth felt her eyes widen. "Life-bonded? What does that mean?" Karen explained. "It means our pack is your pack. Your enemies are ours. Your battles, ours. Your future, tied to ours." Evan whispered, "Holy HFY." The female stepped forward and placed a massive paw carefully over Elizabeth's hand. "You saved me. I save you." Karen nodded solemnly. "All Lufarians will know, humans stand with honor." The gravity of the moment settled like starlight across the room. Humanity had just earned the allegiance of one of the galaxy's most feared warrior species, not with guns, not with politics, but with compassion and impossible defiance of the odds. Evan laughed softly. "You realize what this means, right?" Elizabeth smiled. "Yeah, humanity just gained the galaxy's most badass wolves." Karen let out a deep, echoing howl that shook the outpost walls, a howl of honor, of gratitude, and of new alliance. And for the first time in recorded history, a Lufarian pack howled for humans. HFY.